Hello and welcome to another Tuesday tip. I'm Pam Keslauskas, and today we're going to take a look at special claims. Special claims is one of those often overlooked areas of the financial health of the property, and special claims can make a big difference to your fiscal health, so it's important to know what you can claim and when. What makes special claims special is that you are allowed to recoup some of your losses for tenant damages or unpaid rent to mitigate some of that financial loss for the property. HUD allows you to get a portion of the money you would receive on a unit that isn't rented. So even though it's not rented, you get a portion of the money that you would get if it were. It allows the owners to recoup some of the losses from tenant damages as well. So there are a couple of different claims, a couple of different types of claim that you can make. One is for rent up vacancies. So those are units that take a long time to fill for the very first time. And then there are claims on regular vacancies, which are the normal vacancies that occur during the life of your property. There are also damages claims and debt service vacancies. Debt service vacancies are vacancies that go beyond 60 days, and they're designed to prevent a mortgage default. Unpaid rent and tenant damages is just what it sounds like. If you have a tenant that vacates and owes a significant amount to the property for unpaid rent or tenant damages, HUD will help you cover funds that you lose that the security deposit isn't going to cover. So there are some claim amount limits for rent up vacancies, and these are only going to apply to the PRAC properties. You can claim up to 50% of the loss that you have due to an ongoing vacancy. For a regular vacancy, are the standard vacancies that you have during the life of the property, and you can claim in every property except a PRAC 80% of your lost rent. In a PRAC property, the 202 and 811 PRACs, you can claim up to 50% of your loss for up to 60 days. That makes a huge difference in the financial health of your property. The next thing we're going to look at is we're going to talk about the claim amount limits for the debt service vacancies and damages. For debt service vacancies, you're going to look at amortized principal and interest for the particular unit that's vacant. And for tenant damages and unpaid rent, you're talking about the actual loss, whatever that is, minus the security deposit and interest. The reason they're offsetting the security deposit and interest is because when you have a tenant that causes that kind of damage, you're going to be keeping the security deposit and any interest that it's earned to date. So when you are looking at these special claims, there is a process to fill them, and you need to follow that process. You're going to be filling out the claim form and the cover sheet that HUD has, attaching any relevant documentation to support your claim. And if you are a Navigate property or a property that has a contract administrator, those claims go to your contract administrator. In most of the PRAC properties, those are going to be submitted to HUD directly. And then once you get the approval of your special claim, then you submit them through TRACS for payment. You don't want to be submitting these things before you have the actual approved claim in hand. So you want to keep an eye on your subsidy when you're doing these special claims. We don't always realize it, but when your property is set up, the subsidy is set up with an amount of money, a finite dollar amount that's supposed to be the amount of subsidy that you will go through the life of that contract. It's estimated on whatever the contract rent is at the time of setup. So if you have a lot of rent increases or you're filing a lot of special claims, you can actually burn through your subsidy amount more quickly than originally thought. So you do want to keep an eye on what your total subsidy amount is, so that if you're getting close to exhausting the amount in your subsidy contract, you can file with HUD for additional funding. When you are filing these, You also want to be making sure that you are keeping an eye on special claims as they go. So we generally make the recommendation that anything you think might turn out to be a special claim, you keep kind of a folder of that documentation. Do you have to make them? No, HUD doesn't require that you make special claims, but they are really a critical part of managing the financial health of your property. And in some cases, you may not be approved for a rent increase if you have never made a special claim. For instance, if you've been leaving a lot of these special claims on the table, and had you been making them, you wouldn't need a rent increase, there could potentially be an argument for not giving you a rent increase and instead saying you need to be making your special claims. So even seemingly small claims can make a big difference in where your property is at financially. One of the questions we get asked is, when is it worth it to make a special claim? And that's really something that the owner agent needs to decide. HUD does not have a particular threshold for what's claimed, but if your special claim would work out to be $3, it may not be worth making it. So that's something that the owner agent needs to decide in terms of when a special claim is worth making. Some management companies just look at each individual claim and decide whether or not that would be worth filing. I have heard of some companies that say, if the special claim is going to be less than X dollars, it's really not worth filing. But that is something that you as the owner agent need to decide on your own. When it's not worth it, well, we need to look at certain situations per claim. If you don't feel that you can adequately document that you have advertised, you need to be following your marketing plan and advertising vacant units. If you did not, for any reason, keep a security deposit and withhold damages from the security deposit, if documentation is missing or incomplete, or if the unit was filled more than 180 days ago and you haven't gotten the special claim filled out, it's going to be denied. So those are some of the things that you want to look at in terms of, is it worth doing this special? When you want to look at HUD guidance, there are a couple of things that you want to look at, mainly the HUD Special Claims Processing Guide. Special claims used to be covered in the old 4350.3, but now there is a specific HUD Special Claims Processing Guide. I put the link up there for you. You can also just go and do a Google search for HUD Special Claims Processing Guide, and it should come right up for you. But that walks through all of the different special claims, what the process is, what the documentation is for each. Here on your screen now, you'll see the Navigate Client Portal. You can submit your special claims through either this client portal, or you can email them to specialclaims@navigatehousing.com. Either way will work. So what you're going to do on this client portal is you will click the link, and then you will fill out the information on the page that opens up, attach your documentation, and submit through that client portal. Or as I said, you can email it. So that will do it for an overview of special claims. On the next Tuesday tips, we're going to look a little more closely at special claims for tenant damages and best practices for submission. And if you need to contact us, if you have questions or if you have suggestions, you can email either Vicki or me. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next Tuesday tips.